What's the difference between ActionScript 2 and ActionScript 3? Have you ever wondered how the magic behind those early Flash animations and games was created? Today, we are diving into the differences between ActionScript 2 and ActionScript 3, two scripting languages that played a huge role in shaping the interactive content of the 2000s. First off, ActionScript 2, often abbreviated as AS2, is a loosely typed language. This means it allowed for a more flexible coding style. Developers could write code without strict rules, which made it easier for beginners to jump in. However, this flexibility sometimes led to messy code and runtime errors. On the other hand, ActionScript 3, or AS3, introduced a fully object-oriented programming model. This meant that developers had to follow stricter rules when coding. AS3 required specific data types for variables, which helped catch errors early on. This made the code cleaner and more maintainable, especially for larger projects. When it comes to performance, AS3 really shines. It runs on a new virtual machine called ActionScript Virtual Machine 2, which is about 10 times faster than the previous version used by AS2. This speed boost allowed developers to create more complex animations and games without lagging, making the user experience much smoother. In terms of available tools, AS2 came with around 66 classes and 10 packages. This was a decent starting point, but AS3 expanded that dramatically to over 500 classes and 42 packages. This rich library provided developers with a wealth of options for handling graphics, events, and networking, making it much easier to create sophisticated interactive experiences. Another area where AS3 outperformed AS2 was in error checking and code safety. With AS3's strict typing, the compiler could catch many errors during the coding process. This led to fewer bugs and more reliable applications. In contrast, AS2's flexibility often resulted in more runtime errors, which could be frustrating for developers. Syntax also changed between the two versions. AS3 introduced new syntax rules that made the language cleaner and more structured. While this required developers to learn new ways of writing code, it ultimately resulted in better organization. AS2's syntax was simpler and more forgiving, which was great for beginners but less efficient for larger projects. Looking back at the 2000s, many popular Flash games and animations were built using AS2. Its simplicity made it accessible for a wide range of creators. However, as the decade progressed, developers began to transition to AS3 to take advantage of its speed and advanced features. This shift helped Flash remain relevant amid growing competition from other web technologies. In summary, ActionScript 3 represented a significant upgrade over ActionScript 2 in terms of speed, structure, and capability. While AS2 brings back memories of the early days of Flash creativity, AS3 reflects the evolution of Flash as a serious platform for complex interactive content and games. Both versions played essential roles in shaping the vibrant Flash culture that defined much of the Internet's visual and interactive style during that era.